Farm for Profit Podcast. Take a listen, have a blast. Farm for Profit Podcast. Learn about farming while having a laugh. Farm for Profit Podcast.
And listeners, welcome back to the Farm for Profit Podcast. This is Tanner and Corey hanging out, and I'm excited for Corey to introduce you to our guest today.
Man, you're really trying to get the intro short.
Why? Well, we can come back and tell people that they need to like, rate, review, and subscribe, and send guest suggestions to farmforprofitllc@gmail.com. But every time that we start talking about that, we're back to doing the same old intro again.
That's true. So let's just get into it.
Let's do it.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Today on the Farm for Fun show, we are competing with the stages. You might hear them in the background. Education here at NACADE. We meet up with a man that we met a couple years ago at NACADE in Des Moines. And we had to wait 2 years to follow him out to Indianapolis. Probably could have rode together. He's a farmer, a drain tile contractor, overall extremely driven individual, shown by his fitness journey through the coldest time of the year. Please welcome from Manson, Iowa, co-owner of Strutzenberg Farm Drainage and Excavation. It's a mouthful. Mr. Brandon Strutzenberg.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, guys.
And he's always got the most badass sunglasses.
Aviators.
You've always got them.
Ray-Bans.
These are the best. They're polarized. Not a fan of polarized.
You're not?
No. Well, I'm a pilot, and so if I'm flying, I can't use polarized because the reflection.
On the windows?
So if there's other aircraft out in the air, you can't. You're looking for a reflection. You can't see it with polarized.
Ah.
Yeah.
So
That's why when you're fishing, you can see
through the water.
weed spaces or whatever it is because you're not getting the reflection off the water.
Yep. Yeah. So don't get polarized if you're a pilot.
So why do you have polarized?
It was a 2-for-1 deal.
You're our farmer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Free hat? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 for 1? Let's sign me up.
They tend to be work glasses too, and they'll get crushed every once in a while. Oh, that's my 5th pair probably right there.
Even Ray-Ban, man, that's
Yeah.
an expensive crush.
Yeah.
That's why I started going to the Shady Rays because they're like $30-40.
Yeah.
And you can
Flexible.
tell them you lost them, and they still send you another pair just
Yeah.
for the cost of shipping. But I have tried some of them and some Oakleys and some other ones on, and I do think there's some better quality glass or plastic or whatever. I don't know what they are. I think it's plastic.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Even my dad, he's 72 years old. He's like, "Where'd you get those glasses?" So I need to get him a pair for Father's Day probably.
There you go.
That'd be easy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Where have you guys been?
We just got back from the Custom Harvesters event where operators from across the country couldn't stop talking about Steinbauer performance modules.
Yeah, they're seeing up to 25% more power, better fuel efficiency, all with smarter injector duration and not altering the rail pressure for safe and reliable performance.
If you're looking to maximize your machine's potential, go to steinbauer.us and tell them Farm for Profit sent you to get yours today.
So anyway, Brandon, it's been a while since we've seen you. We see you around, but we've never got to be on a show with you. So this is a Farm for Fun show. We're just here to learn about you. So let's go back to little Brandon, how you grew up, where you grew up, what'd you do?
Well, born and raised in Manson, Iowa. Actually, more or less Canarum, Iowa, but Canarum doesn't really have a address. So Canarum's like 50 people, maybe not even that much. So I grew up north of there, about 2 or 3 miles. Been farming for 12 years now. I think this will be my 12th crop.
Okay.
Started tiling probably 10 years ago, 9-10 years ago.
So you started farming 12 years ago, but did you grow up farming?
Yep, grew up farming. Actually just found out this year I am the 7th generation, I think. Not of Strutzenbergs, but in the family. Did some research on some abstracts and found out that we're 134 years into it, I think. So got our Century Farm Award at the State Fair this past summer.
Oh, nice.
And, learned a lot about the family history and where they came from and everything. And so we've been there for 134 years now. And, Dad's been farming his whole life, and he's technically retired now, but, farmers don't really retire. So
Corn, soybeans?
corn and beans, yep. No livestock. Tried getting into some livestock and ran into some lawsuit issues. So unfortunately don't have that. But, corn and beans and tile, basically.
Got a lot of horses in that tile plow.
Yeah. No horses, though.
No,
I don't want horses.
No hay. Don't need a hay.
Don't have
just
to
needs
hay
fuel.
those.
Yeah.
So did you start the tile business, or was that your dad? Or who was it?
So kind of yes and no. So in 2015 or 14 maybe, we had a contractor come in and was going to do some work. They brought the equipment in and shut down for the weekend and got froze out over the weekend and couldn't get back in the field. So they're like, well, we'll just come back in the spring. And they came back in the spring, but what they did is load the machine up and took it home for an oil change and never came back.
Oh.
And so we needed to get tile in because we were just too wet. Couldn't stand it anymore. So Dad and I researched some plows and ended up just settling on a pull-type plow. And so Dad had bought the pull-type plow and got several of our acres covered with that and kind of learned the ins and outs of the business and just the nuances of connections and whatnot. There's actually a lot to it to be efficient. So in 2016, we had a neighbor call and asked if we could put a couple lines in for him, and said yeah. And in 2018, we did some more, and I was working a corporate kind of job, and just
What were you doing?
I was a crop insurance adjuster, and so 2020 was a big year because of the derecho.
Yeah.
So it was kind of wore out with that anyways. But a few years prior to that, we had actually started the business, my brother and I. Dad had nothing to do with it, but he did have the pull-type plow. But we didn't want to do that for commercial reasons. Just didn't really trust the pull-type plow, I guess, for commercial. And
Trust as in like depth and control, or what?
Yeah, I think just the grading capabilities of it, and just the physical capabilities of the four-wheel drive tractor and the pull-type plow. It's not there. It's not the same as a self-contained unit, and so I didn't want to put my name out there and do commercial work with that. But there's guys that do, and that's fine. But 2019, I approached my brother. I said, hey, we both got these jobs, full-time jobs that we're working, and they're treating us well, but maybe we can do some more. And sat down with him and put a business plan together, and went to the banker and got some money and started talking to tile plow dealers and figuring out what we wanted for the machines, and settled on a Wolf parallel link plow, and found some really good salesmen with good support, and never looked back. And so just my brother and I have been at it for 6 years or so, I think now. 2019 is when we started anyways. And just love drainage, really, is what it is.
How is demand for drainage? Do you guys have too much work? Are you looking for it?
It's about right. We had a full fall and we had a long fall, but we're carrying work over into the spring. So I from what I hear, there's guys that are kind of struggling for work right now because of the drought, maybe lower crop prices, but at least for us, I think demand's pretty strong. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon unless corn goes to $3. But I think the potential for this coming year is getting better by the day.
So as you are, approaching one of your clients or a potential client, are you building the entire schematics? Are you making the whole tile plan itself, or you just get that plan and do the installation?
So it's a little bit of both. We got some guys that want, they got a dollar budget, and they want to focus on a couple areas, and through our process in the office, we kind of decide what the best area might be. We'll go through the whole plan on my computer, and typically I want to design a whole plan for the entire field. And even if we just do separate phases over the course of 4 years or decade, whatever it might be, we want to make sure that plan's right to carry forward for the future.
Yeah.
So, all the planning's done ahead of time in the office.
I've said this several times. We have a gold digger pull-type tile plow that we probably haven't used for 10 years on our farm. We've put, a few years before that, we put several strings in here and there because we had a plan. After that, we kind of ran out of time and just don't have a plan, and so we don't have the time, we don't have the plan, and we never go do it.
Yeah,
and
that's very
we don't have the
common.
labor, right?
Yep.
And I've kind of had this vision that I just want to have someone come in and plan everything.
Yeah.
Right? Like not even go put anything in, just have a plan, and then we can start going. Okay, well, this is our low-hanging fruit. Let's go get that one, or like we can have a obviously plan to go do it. And I think that's our biggest limiting factor.
So you as a farmer, you're looking for somebody to do your design work, basically.
Right.
And then you'll go do the physical
Well,
stuff.
I mean, maybe. Or if I just have a plan and I know my worth, I know my numbers a lot better, am I just better off hiring you to come do it in chunks of, I want to spend $50,000 a year on tile, or whatever, that budget for that year is. Or another thought I had, well, I can lay up to like 8-inch. Do I have you come in and do my mains and connections here and there, like all the stuff that I'm not capable of, but then get down to the 4-inch that I possibly could? I mean, you don't want to hear that, but I mean, it's a possibility.
Yeah,
right?
well, with your 8-inch, depth is on your mains. The deeper you can get, the better.
Yeah.
And a lot of times with pull type equipment or mounted equipment, you can't quite get the depth that you want to get.
Yeah.
So like with us, with our typical system, we want to have 4.2 feet of cover on top of our mains. So that means we got to be installing, 5 deep, and so it's super reasonable for farmers to have their pull type plow for their laterals and maybe 6-inch even, and then hire contractors for that bigger, deeper pipe.
Yep. Do you lay both ways?
That's in the future. We're not doing it right now. Right now it's just my brother and I, and so we're kind of at a limit what we can do per day. Just plowing one way, plowing uphill. And so I think, at least in my head, in theory, we can do a lot more production if we start going both ways.
Yep.
The only reason I'm not doing it is I feel like if I'm not in the machine working, putting tile in, I'm not being efficient.
Yeah.
And that, in order to plow both ways, you got to take a day off probably and go do your topo survey ahead of time.
Yep.
And then design it, and then you can go plow.
Yep.
So when you're in the field operating, you're going to be more efficient.
Yep.
But when it's all said and done with 2 guys, I don't know if we'll be super efficient.
Yeah.
But
So what you're doing is you're surveying on the run back.
yeah, we are. Yeah.
Plow your line, move over, drive back. That's what you're getting your data from.
Yep.
Then you put the plow on the ground and go right back to same.
Yep.
I can't believe. So I had the Langs. I'm sure you know Joel and Steven. I had them do 160 that I own over by them. That's why I had them do it, and we knew them from the podcast and stuff. And they were going both ways. And I'm like, they got that done in so quick a time.
Yeah, because you're always plowing pipe in. You're not surveying. You're always plowing. You get to the top of the hill, turn around, plow back down.
And every time that we had used the pull type plow, I felt like all the time we did was spent trying to find old tile, digging, exploration, surveying. We were not efficient at all. It just wasn't worth our time.
Yeah, there's a lot of different theories as to how to go tile. There's guys that want to go locate all the old tile, all the old clays, or maybe it's old plastic even, and work around it or tie it back in or whatever. There's also guys that they'll just go to the fence line of the road ditch and hook into whatever they got there and just destroy everything else in the field. Dig through it a little bit if they need to.
I was going to ask how you know with a plow. Obviously, when you see these wheeled machines, the trencher machines, it pulls the dirt up, and you can see a chunk of clay.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit, just hit one there. I can mark this and go back and tie into it. When you're plowing, can you tell?
You can't see the tile coming out, but if we know that there's possibly a line there, we'll actually have somebody walk that tile ditch, and you can actually, if it was put in with an old trencher or sometimes probably by hand, you'll see that trench line in the dirt because the tile plow heaves that dirt out so good. You'll see that trench line there, and then we can go put a flag there, just dig it up right there, or maybe we'll just ignore it. But I don't know when it was, a couple months ago, Apple Maps, they updated their satellite view of our area, and oh my God, it's just perfect right now. They took it this spring, probably like 3 days after a rain, and you can see every single tile line out there.
Really?
It's going to be so nice this coming fall or spring to see where those tile lines are at, because Google Earth, it's okay, but it's not. You can't always see everything. But this latest Apple Maps update, it's perfect.
That is cool. I mean, I'd always try to. Dad's like, every time it get a big rain, we should go up a day after with the drone.
Yeah.
And try to look down.
This spring I flew thousands of acres with my drone, just in preparation for this coming fall.
Because the amount of maps that we have that are hand drawn in pencil, 335 foot this way, and
There's a booth over there with a skid.
Yep.
And it maps using radar.
Yeah,
and if you see a little blip, you're supposed to flag that, and then the computer system ties in where your lines are potentially. All great and dandy, except for the machine's $75,000.
Yeah, and it's $750 an acre, I think, for the
you get 6,000. You get 6,000 acres, and then beyond that, it's 7. Yep. I was like, holy smokes! Like that's an investment.
You can do a lot of digging, I guess, and honestly, you could probably charge for the locating. A lot of guys do, and not have to spend money on that. But
you can get a nice excavator for $75,000.
Yeah. And you can do a lot of digging with that really quick.
Well, then you got the excavator because what you do more than just tile, right? You've got a long reach hoe.
Yep.
You do demolition stuff. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, you buy that skid and all you can do is skid.
I think I'd have a ranger to go do it too.
That's true. Yeah, so for $100,000 minimum,
Yep.
you're investing in that. You put $100,000 into a long reach hoe, and now you got other jobs.
But it's probably like everything else, after a couple years of technology being out,
Oh yeah,
it might cheapen up and become more reasonable. That'd be my hopes anyways.
Dave was all excited about it because he goes to sell farms and he gets these hand-drawn tile maps.
Yeah.
And he knows that it's going to bring more money if he has an accurate tile map that he can show and tell where things are at. He's like, oh, this would be just be awesome if I had sold this many acres. Like, it's still hard to get a payback.
Yeah.
What's a typical tile job look like in your area? Pattern? Are you going 60, 50, 30?
It depends on the contractor, to be honest. There's contractors in my area that are in the county, within 30 miles of me, I'll say, that they like their 5-inch tile for laterals, and they're typically putting it in deeper, 4.5, maybe 5 foot deep on laterals. Typically 80, 90, maybe even 100-foot spacing if they got somebody that's got a budget that they got to work with. But then there's, us, we're really liking the 60-foot spacing.
Okay.
4-inch tile and 3.5 foot deep. I would like to see some guys going to 40-foot spacing, 3 foot deep. I think that, what I'm seeing is in August you get maybe a rain, probably going to miss a rain though. Yeah. And if you can preserve some of that moisture down deeper, I think that's going to lead to better yield. So on my personal farms, I'm doing 40-foot spacing and shallowing it up.
So could you do some of that with the gating that we've talked to on holding moisture back?
Like the subsurface irrigation kind of stuff?
Well, not even that, just holding it back.
They're junction boxes, what do they call them?
Oh, the control structures.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man, we need to wheel them things right by, don't we?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
It's not typically we get a lawnmower or fire trucks. Now we're getting coolers of beer.
Coolers of beer, yes, that's exactly what it is.
They should have dropped one off for making all that freaking noise.
All right, water control structures.
Yeah, I think I've talked to a few or one design company on that, and you really got to design the project around that control structure. And typically, it's going to be out in the field, and you can't do it. At least I don't think you can do it across the whole farm. They want it in your flatter areas, and at least in my area, Northwest Iowa, if we got a low spot, we typically don't want to hold water in that anyways. Yeah. We want to get it off as soon as we can. So I'm sure there's areas where control structures are going to be beneficial, but as of right now, I don't see it happening in my area.
Yeah, Dave was having one drawn up, and it cost him $20,000 more because they had to put. He thought, well, we just put one control structure in. No, they had to put in larger pipe, and they had to put some in halfway through the field.
Yep.
Because if you hold water back here, but your elevation goes up too high, you're only holding it back actually in this part of the field, not the whole field.
Right.
It's not.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, they end up being scattered throughout the field, and yeah.
Have you done any 3-inch?
I've been talking to a few guys around here, some pipe suppliers, about doing some 3-inch.
What's the theory there?
Well, it's like I said, just getting narrower spacing and shallower, preserve some of that moisture down deep. The thing is, it's like if you look at a 4-inch pipe and a 3-inch pipe right next to each other, it's like half the distance, or it's like half the circumference,
or
the diameter.
It's the old pizza theory, like just because it goes up 1 inch in size, it's actually
it's
double
like,
or
Yeah, I always think, if you got 2 4s equals a 5, and 2 5s is a 6, 2 6s is an 8. That's roughly the difference in size.
Because we're talking volume.
Yep. So, there's guys running 3-inch for sure, and it's like everything else. 50 years ago, everything was 5-inch around our area. Mm-hmm. Now it's all 4-inch, for the most part 4-inch. 50 years from now, it's probably going to be 3-inch, if I had to guess.
Yeah, just seems so small.
The problem is,
but you can get a lot of feet on a roll.
You can get a lot done with 3 inches.
That's the thing. Yeah, 6,000-7,000 feet on a roll. That's half the rolls you got to handle, and more footage really when it comes down to it.
So you're getting narrower. I'm sure you're getting cheaper per foot, but is it going up in cost per acre because you're getting narrower?
Yeah. See, that's the problem. Is the price difference between 3-inch and 4-inch pipe is not that much.
Okay.
It's like 10 or 12 cents a foot. So it's
Yeah, and it's still going to cost you the same to put the plow in the ground.
yeah. Typically, if we're putting more footage in, we might back off the pricing a little bit just because we're going to be there for a little bit longer.
Volume
we don't have to
discount.
move. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, every time you load the damn thing up on a semi, it costs money.
It takes a day to move all the equipment.
Yep.
We got 5 pieces of equipment in the field, and that's 5 trips back and forth with the semi, not producing anything.
That was the thing we never used to have on the farm, and we'd have a dozer come out and do work, and now we actually get a $500 or $700, what do you call it, a mobility fee?
Mobilization,
Mobilization or whatever. It's like, it makes sense. I mean, we own trucks. We know how much it costs to get the permitting and load up and chain and risk with the DOT and all that stuff.
God forbid you get pulled over. I had a buddy that he had state permits, state oversized permits, but he's on county roads. Well, the DOT got him. So he was like 130,000 pounds or something like that. That's like 50,000 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
It was like a $10,000 fine. So
Won't
I
do that
actually
again.
thought
Yeah.
it might have been more. 50,000.
yeah.
Holy crap. So is he going to change anything or just keep on doing it?
Well, maybe just run on Sunday afternoon.
I was going to say, yeah. Sunday and holiday weekends.
Yeah.
Man, that's nuts.
Yeah. Every time we load up, I always worry about that. Not just DOT, but just the liability aspect of it, because you're pushing a lot of weight down the road. Somebody pulls out in front of you, it's not good.
So you probably haul your own as well? And
Yeah.
You got excavator, like you said, long reach, all
You got
that.
a couple of them,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Long reach excavator. That's something we got into 2022. We had put a bid in for a project and ended up winning the bid. Weren't expecting that, and so we had to go out and buy the long reach.
Oh, crap.
So it's something we were prepared for, but we weren't expecting it. And the long reach, that's an interesting deal. It's the one project we did. I calculated out the amount of hours I sat there on that project. It's like combining 9,000 acres of beans in one field, never leaving. That's how many hours I spent on that project, doing the same thing.
Wow.
It gets pretty old after a while, but it's something that needs done too. Not many guys do it. I think there's only 2 of us in North Central Iowa that do that.
Did it pay for the machine?
After a couple projects, it did, yeah.
See, I know a farmer in the area who had a big drainage ditch project, and someone came in and bid it. I don't know if it was the state or what, but it was like $1 million bid.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, shoot, I can buy a long reach excavator for $75,000.
Yeah.
And I think he sat there and I think he bid it for $500,000,
Yeah.
and still made money. And he didn't have nothing else to do that winter. He was a big smoker. He was there, sitting there just chain smoking cigarettes in there. He'd go check on him once in a while, just having the time of his life.
Yeah. The problem with those open ditch cleanup projects, a lot of times they're tying like the tile extensions into the bid. So, you got your pipe outlet into the open ditch. Typically those pipes are going to be CMP and they're probably rusted out because they've been in there for 60, 80 years, 50 years.
Yep.
They're just rust. And so we got to replace all those as well. And if you got water running down those and you got 50 of them to replace on a project, oh boy.
That's miserable.
You kind of start regretting life after a little bit, yeah.
That doesn't sound fun. Do you have a certain supplier of pipe that you use, or just kind of anybody that's got the best deal, or what?
I don't really care about I shouldn't say I don't care about the deals, but it's not my main focus because typically they're all pretty competitive. We've been sticking with Prinsco. They got a yard in Fort Dodge just 15 minutes away from us, and it's super easy to just run there and grab a fitting if we need to that we don't have in stock.
Yeah.
So Prinsco's, and I love the guys at the yard too. We just have a good time together and just give each other a little bit of crap and just have a good time whenever we stop in there. So
A lot of times it's convenience, right? Like
Yep.
it's the red versus deer. Like, who's by your farm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
what-
I'd love to buy a red tractor or whatever, but the dealership's 114 miles away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I've got a good friend that works for a different company selling pipe, so he's always bothering me. And eventually, I'll break down and get a couple loads from him. And I think they got great pipe, so it's
yeah.
I think
So can you put a Prinsco fitting on a ADS pipe?
well, that's the problem. That's why we've been sticking with Prinsco because their fittings, their pipe doesn't really work with anybody else's fittings. So we've gotten loads
Is
of
it
other.
4 inches?
It's like there's Canadian dimensions in there somehow, like millimeters. Yeah, I think Prinsco is the oddball out when it comes to it.
Okay.
But most of our fittings anymore are tap tees, and Central Plastics, they've got a phenomenal fitting, a phenomenal tap tee, and that works really good with Prinsco pipe. So Yeah, we tried other brands of pipe with Prinsco fittings. It's either sloppy or tight. It's just
Very interesting.
yeah.
I'm refraining from all the jokes I could have made about being sloppy or tight. So that was a pause for me. I just make my own jokes in my head. You first thing you said, the sunglasses, because you're a pilot.
Yeah.
What do you fly?
So I've got it's technically my dad's plane. I take care of all the bills and everything with it. It's a Cessna 150, 2-seat airplane, 150 horsepower.
Yeah.
Sweet little, grocery getter kind of an airplane.
Is that wing over?
Yep, high wing.
High
Yep.
wing?
Yep.
Good for taking pictures.
Yeah, it's excellent for looking at the crops from the air if you don't have a drone.
You fly like what, 170 knots or something? Like that?
About 110, 100 somewhere in there.
That's it?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so if you're up high and you got a stiff wind,
Yeah, don't feel like you're moving.
well, yeah, pretty much.
When did you decide to get your pilot's license?
When I graduated high school.
Yeah.
Yep. So that summer, spent time up in the air, and yep.
Nice. I always wanted to do that. My wife got me, she was my fiance at the time, got me a $100 gift card to go fly one time. You know,
yeah.
Just like start your
Yep.
deal, and I never did it, and I'm so pissed that I never did, and now I don't think I have time. Or
It died off for a while being a pilot, but I think it's coming back now.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of interest in it.
I mean, we've seen it just in how cool is it that you could go to a show somewhere that, I mean, it would have taken you a day to drive to, a day
Yeah.
or whatever, or you could be there and be back by lunch or
Yep.
back by dinner time.
Did you
know.
fly out here?
I didn't. No.
So what makes that decision for you?
Whether I fly somewhere or not.
Yeah.
Weather, basically. The weather's fine out here, but I guess back in August, my flight instructor was actually flying out here to pick up a friend's airplane and crashed. And
Oh, I remember that
so,
story.
yeah, so I haven't been up flying since then. But yeah,
What went on with that? I never heard.
I haven't heard either. I guess I have my theories, but I don't know for sure.
Our buddy AJ Weekman is a pilot as well, and he said that I think he either did flight instructing with him or did some maybe. Do you guys do that continuing education or?
Yeah,
something,
you
or-
got to stay current and all that
I
stuff.
think he
yeah.
did something with it, like he knew. I was like, oh boy, that's a tight knit industry too.
Yeah, you talk
Yeah.
about drainage contractors being a tight-knit
Yeah.
industry. I'm sure pilots are the same.
It's the same way. Yep.
Yeah,
You think you'll go back up?
Oh yeah, yeah, yep. Yeah, he was from not originally from Manson, but his family was from Manson. So actually, he lived 2000. My dad had built a new house, and the old farmhouse got moved off, and his family actually bought the farmhouse that I grew up in for the first 6 years of my life, and so he lived in that house for a while and went off and built his own house, and so he's been in the area. I've known him, and flew out here to pick up or look at a friend's airplane, I guess, and never made it back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's too bad. Do you have any aspirations of different planes, bigger, faster?
eventually, I will get a bush plane, basically, big bush tires, and hopefully fly out to like the Rockies or Banff or something like that in Canada and land on sandbars and go fly fishing.
I was just talking. So our buddy at Sage has done that before. Like you literally just go scout the salmon runs.
Yeah.
And you can see the fish. Like, oh, we're putting her down there. We're going. You know, how cool would that be?
Yeah, I used to work at New Co-op, and one summer I was loading the spray planes for fungicide season, and the one pilot is from Yuma, Arizona, and he's got a Super Cub airplane, which is like a bush. You can make it a bush plane, and he would fly from Yuma all the way up to Alaska through the Rockies, the whole way.
Wow.
And it'd take like 2 weeks to get up there. He'd just go by himself, sleep on sandbars, pitch a tent on sandbars, and then I think you'd go salmon fishing up there, and then fly back to Arizona.
That's wild.
Took like a 3-month trip doing it.
So you'd have to fly out and get fuel somewhere.
Yeah. You got to be pretty good at trip planning, especially in a Super Cub in the mountains.
And I imagine you'd probably have to. God, you'd have to be really good with weather.
Yeah.
Too.
You might be sitting for a couple days,
Yeah.
letting some weather pass through.
Because up in the mountains, it's a lot different than being down.
Yeah, once you get up so high, you can't just like climb out either.
Yeah.
Because the air's so thin.
Yeah.
There's no lift anymore.
That's wild. I bet that's a rush.
Oh yeah, I would love to
Well,
get a pilot's license. Just the freedom that you have.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, the same pilot that flies up to Alaska, according to him, they crop dust at night down in Yuma, Arizona, because it's so dry.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if they're doing it during the day, it's probably not even hitting the ground. The spray isn't. So they're all doing it at night, and they got their headlamps or their headlights on, and they're turning at night right next to the mountains. I mean,
Balls of
that's a
steel.
rush.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing we got drones now for that.
Yeah. Have you ever been up with a crop duster?
No.
I'd like to ride in one time.
I don't know if I'd be able to keep my lunch down.
No.
They make some tight turns, steep turns, and oh boy.
Flying under guide wires and
Yeah.
things of that nature. It's like, ooh. Yeah, crazy. So you've used social media with your business a little bit. At least that's where I know you from, right?
A little bit, yeah.
How's that been?
I try to stay off social media. It's better for my mental health that way.
I noticed, you weren't too big of a fan of TikTok. Yeah. You
Well,
had some pretty bold views there.
I used to be on TikTok a little bit, and I'd get home at night, and 2 hours later, I wake up scrolling on my phone. Yes, I'd just be sitting on the couch for 2 hours, not even knowing it, and all of a sudden, I'd snap out of it and throw my phone off the side, and it just got frustrating after a while. You know, it becomes an addiction, but there's also good aspects to it too. You just got to know to draw the line.
Yep. I would say I was exactly like you. Like, it'd be like, it was a major time suck in 2020 when
Yep.
I got on.
Yep.
Like, unhealthy. But somehow I got out of it. I don't know if it was just a phase. Like, that was the cool new thing. And then what was cool about it was we met a lot of neat people and like-minded people. So that was the cool part about it, but the random scrolling. I mean, but eventually we still use it. But I post and ghost, and if I'm on there, I'm normally just looking for a guest or content ideas or something like that. Like, I'm not on there very much anymore. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like you said, the cool thing about it is I met some pretty cool people doing it.
Yeah.
Back when I was on TikTok and
Yep.
had a decent-sized following back when I was doing that, and you know, like Emma, Ag with Emma.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I met her and several other people. And
We love Ag with Emma. We were just
Yeah.
with her last week at FarmCon.
That's right.
So I've seen her a couple times this last winter. It's kind of been fun. So,
We're her TikTok dads.
yes.
Yeah.
She needs a lot of guidance sometimes.
We love you, Emma.
Yeah.
Farmers, you do it all. So should your technology. Level up your equipment with the latest innovations from Ag Leader.
From sure force downforce control and sure speed high accuracy planting to right spot individual nozzle control, Ag Leader has you covered.
And now, with the new In-Command Go displays, you get unparalleled visibility and control, keeping critical information at your fingertips. Upgrade today and reap the benefits this season.
Visit agleader.com or contact your local Ag Leader dealer to get started.
She did. It was kind of funny though. She texted us saying, "Hey, I'm flying into the airport. Could you guys be my Uber?" And we were kind of like, "Oh, well, when you get in?" She's 8 o'clock, and then her flight got delayed, and it was like closer to 9 o'clock. And by the time it was time to go pick her up, she was safer in an Uber.
Yeah,
We were in no physical condition
Yeah.
to drive and pick up anybody
Well,
and
plus
make a
it was like a
responsible decision.
50-minute drive there and back. It's like,
Like,
man.
that's beyond the point. It was the fact that we were all too drunk.
those dang hotel bars
Yeah, that'll do
get
it.
you every time.
That'll do it.
Yeah. She said, "Well, in case I die, at least this isn't the name of my Uber driver." Sends a screenshot.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna be fine.
She's
We'll
just,
see you when you get here.
Yeah. So talk about your 75-day hard that we were talking before we turned the cameras on.
Yeah, 75 hard. It's not for the weak, that's for sure. But no, basically, there's like 7 or 8 tasks that you got to do every day.
Yeah.
And if you fail, you got to start over. So you got to work out outside for 45 minutes, even when it's 5 degrees out or raining, whatever. You got to work outside. And then
That would have sucked yesterday.
yeah, you throw some Carhartt overalls on and gloves and a face mask and go walk. And then
Because that counts. Like, it doesn't have to be a run. It doesn't have to
No.
be a bike.
No.
You can walk.
I mean, if you're at your house, you can literally pull your stationary bike outside of your garage right on the driveway and just
that
sit
counts.
on your bike and pedal for 45 minutes.
Yep.
Or do push-ups or burpees or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, burpees for 45 minutes
Oh, boy.
sounds
Yeah,
awesome.
screw that.
4.5 minutes is bad.
I hate burpees.
Yeah, and then you got to do a second workout. That can be outdoors or indoors, doesn't matter. And then
So is it another 45 minutes?
another 45, yep.
So it's an hour and a half.
Total, yeah. between
Just
the
of
two.
working out. That's not including these other 5 tasks.
No, yeah. The other 5 tasks are simple, I say. But yeah, you got to read 10 pages of a self-improvement book or kind of like a nonfiction book, something that's going to make you better, or that you can get some value from. You got to drink a gallon of water. You got to limit or no alcohol, and then no cheat meals, and maintain a diet. So if you fail one for one day, you got to start over day 1.
Start over day 1.
Yep.
And so you had to start over because you said you hurt your knee.
Yep. Slipped on slick steps on the tile plow and overextended my knee, and I don't know, a couple days later I got back into it.
So you were 19 days into it?
Back then I was like 26, I think, some days.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I'm back on day 19 right now, I think. So
So it's
So
going to
you're-
end up being a lot of hard days.
yeah, well, not the first time starting over either. It's hard. It really is.
Yeah,
I
you're-
thought you meant that you could go like out. You were on day 19, you failed that day, and then you had to do day 19 over again.
No, you go back to day 1.
Yeah, I wondered why you said, "Oh, I didn't realize you could start over." And I'm sitting there thinking, "Well, yeah, you just go back."
Can you imagine if you're on 74?
Yeah.
Oh, you wouldn't miss it. Actually, who were we with that was on day 75? Somebody was doing it. It wasn't Bridget Riedel, but I felt like it was a Commodity Classic or National Farm Machinery Show. Maybe it was Tim Kauser.
Yeah.
Somebody was doing it, and I remember we had a happy hour to go to, and he goes, I'm gonna have my water.
Yep. So, that used to be pretty difficult for me, but I quit drinking like 3 years ago, and so for me to just shut down and go home, not an issue. Or just to order water.
Yeah.
It's a little bit nerve-wracking at first if you're
Sure.
out in a social setting, but
Right.
after a couple times, you're more confident, you're more aware of what's going on. So
I mean, I've cut back quite a bit, and I've done dry months before, and I actually enjoyed it a little bit because I'd be like, hey, let's go out. That's back when I actually went out. I'll be DD tonight.
Yeah.
You know, and just kind of hang out.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And enjoy stuff. Like, was never a big deal to not. But
I haven't felt bad since we've been out here, but this might be maybe a dry night. We'll see. I just feel full. We get out here and have,
well, you had 2
Good
giant
meals.
pieces of pizza at lunch, and then you ate
well, I'm
Dave's
full now.
Reese's
Yes,
peanut butter cup.
I do have a. This is 75-day hard. Can I have sweets?
Nope. No.
That'd probably be the hardest part for me. Like, even if it's 4 or 5 Skittles, I still like a little.
Unless you claim that as your diet.
Yeah.
Claim
Yeah.
Ho-Hos and Twinkies and Skittles as your diet.
You could say I want to gain 20 pounds
No.
of mostly muscle, but
Yeah, let's do that.
you could do the bulking.
the whole thing with 75 hard, it ends up being like a physical transformation, like kind of a fitness routine. But the whole idea of it is just like mental toughness. Going outside when it's -5 degrees and walking and resisting the good donuts or cake, whatever it might be. Just, I don't know. Become a better business person is why I'm doing it, really.
that was what your
Yeah.
driving factor was?
Yep.
So when would you get back from the D world? The D world?
D-World.
Yeah, Disney. What would you be?
Oh, Disney.
End of March.
Yeah. 17th, 18th, 19th, somewhere in there. Spring break.
Do you think it'd be easier to do 75-day hard in the middle of planting or harvest, or do you think it'd be harder?
It's definitely harder. Yeah.
That's probably where that hour and a half of working out is tough.
Yeah. Well, but it's, for me at least, I've done that. It's meal prepping. You get home from harvest at 9, 10 o'clock at night. You still got to do a workout, and you still got to prep your food for the next day. Otherwise, if you don't prep your meal, you're going to fail. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You're going to stop at Casey's and grab a pizza.
I've started prepping meals just in general for harvest and planting, just cooking a bunch of meat.
Yeah.
And not that I'm going carnivore by any means, but just I like meat and it sustains me, and I can have
Yep.
it in my little. I can have it frozen, and have it in my little. Plug it into a cigarette outlet in the tractor.
Your
That's
Hot
a
Logic.
Perfect meal.
I used to have that 12-volt plug-in, but I think it was like an Instagram ad I seen. They had a self-contained unit with a battery in it. It's like
Yeah.
Easy Lunch or something like that, and you just charge it at night, and you don't have to like plug it in. You just set a timer on it,
Yeah.
or it's got a clock on it, and you set the time that you want to eat, and like 2 hours before that, it starts heating up automatically.
Oh, nice.
It's brilliant. It's like $200,
Yeah.
but I can just throw it in the pickup or whatever, because I'm in and out of different machines all the time. Just throw it in something, and I know it's gonna be ready when I get there.
Yep.
What's your go-to meal prep?
80-20 ground beef.
80-20, just
Yeah.
ground beef.
Cheese, Maybe some eggs every once in a while.
Yeah. Is that are you more carnivore or low carb diet? What's your diet?
Yeah. Pretty much. I was doing what they call like the lion diet for a little while, and I was just losing so much energy doing that because it's basically just meat and salt and water, and I just my energy levels were too low for that, and so I started getting some fruit in there and some sourdough bread and Celsius. God bless, these are 0 calorie.
Can you count that towards your gallon of water?
No, it's got to be plain water.
Plain
like
water.
Coffee, if you drink black coffee like I do, can't count that either.
Iced tea?
Nope, straight up water.
I drink a lot of tea. That'd be tough.
Have you ever fasted, like done those multiple day fasts?
Yeah, I did fast over a weekend. Well, this was like 3 years ago I did that, and that is, if you can get disciplined to the point where you can do that, it's the most amazing thing.
Yeah.
Like for the first day, it's a little bit tough, but you get 2 or 3 days into it.
Yeah, after you get past
Oh,
a day
yeah.
or two. Like I think I did 3 days one time.
It's like when you get out of like a cold shower or something like that, you just feel like alive and aware.
Yeah.
It's
Dave tried doing it for 7 days. I don't think he made it, but he
I
was
couldn't.
close.
I couldn't do it for lunch.
No, Tanner gets hangry. You do have to feed him. So he's just a little guy, and he had 2 huge pieces of pizza at lunch. He was hungry. God bless your metabolism.
I wasn't hungry.
Wish I could have it. Oh, that's great. Well, so what's new on the horizon for Strutzenberg Drainage?
Well, it's something I've been thinking about over the last couple months. You know, we've always waited for customers to call us, and thankfully we've gotten several phone calls, and we've got a decently full schedule, I'll say. But I think we're going to actually, or at least I'm going to start making a plan to go out and approach customers or potential customers and just proactively grow the business. I think instead of waiting for it to grow or for it to just grow, we're actually going to take a step forward and really try and crank out some footage this coming year.
Yeah, if you had a TikTok account, that'd be a really easy way to reach you.
I know. Yeah, there's not much for tile contractors on social media. You got Randy, master pipe layer, but other than that, there's not really anybody doing it. So,
Are you going to document it and put it on YouTube or anything?
you know, a couple years ago, I did buy a GoPro, thinking I could maybe take a stab at it, but it's so hard just to go out and like try and get as much work done and operate and still film at the same time. You know, I'm short labor anyways, just my brother and I.
Yeah.
And so trying to tie that all in together, it's hard, and I just don't think I could stick with it if I started it.
So why is your brother not here?
Well, somebody's got to maintain the operation while the other guy's out screwing off.
I mean, I got my brother back home too.
Yeah.
So I like to see what, the dynamic. Normally there's more of an extrovert, and then the ones, I'm just going to stay here.
Yeah.
So
Now, I like getting out and talking to guys and seeing what the latest and greatest equipment is.
it's healthy.
Yeah.
You
You stay at home, you get stuck in your own little bubble, and
It is easy, especially in the wintertime.
Yeah.
It's easy to get in a little rut and
Yep.
start feeling sorry for yourself, especially when markets aren't that great.
Yeah.
And, got to get out and be around like-minded people that challenge you.
you know, there's so many like nuances to drainage, and as far as like your operations go, like digging starts and stringing tile and just different stuff. And if I can talk to a few guys out here and gain one little thing, it might totally change the operation.
Yep. So we haven't even talked about the farming that much, but like, is the tiling the breadwinner? Is that why you're putting more emphasis in it?
I like tile just because it's something different every day. You know, farming tends to be.
How's it something different
yeah.
every day?
Well, it's a different field or a different problem.
You never know what you're going to dig up. It's like you'll think you got a plan made. You go dig, and it's not going to work out because of depth or tile sizing, whatever. You know, the maps are wrong. The old hand-drawn maps are wrong. So it's always changed. Every single day, something different, unexpected happening. And with farming, I feel like it's kind of cut and dry, the same thing every day or every season for that matter. So I just like the excitement of it. But as far as the breadwinner, no, I don't think I'm not going to draw a line there and say that one's better than the other.
But diversity, right?
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah.
Probably helping out when it's not as great.
You know, other guys will probably agree with me. I think if you're going to have a successful farm in the next 50 years, I think you got to have a side business.
I think you could make an argument. Look at all the successful farms in the last 50 years, like that have actually grown. I mean, you actually dig into them. Like it's normally they didn't make it from growing corn and soybeans,
No.
Right. Or they had a trucking company,
or they bought at the right
excavating,
time.
Yeah,
but
or tiling business.
like,
Hogs, cattle.
seed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so we've had some hate over on the Twitter about influencers. I don't prefer that word. About all we are actors. We don't really farm. But it's no different than starting a tiling business, a trucking business, or whatever.
Yeah. Like I said, 10 years ago or so, I tried getting into livestock and had lawsuits thrown at me, and so that was going to be my avenue back then, and it just didn't work out.
Yep.
So restart and try something different, and this is what we landed on, and I love it. I love everything about tile.
I thought Manson would have been pretty livestock friendly.
Oh, well, so there's two things wrong with the Manson area. One is, I don't know, when it was like 200 million years ago, a meteorite hit Manson, blew the bedrock out of the soil. So our water holding capacity for wells, it's like almost nothing.
Oh.
So like the town of Manson, they're in the process of piping water over from Fort Dodge because
Really?
they spent millions of dollars on drilling wells, can't find enough water
Yep.
to sustain the water that Manson calls for. And Manson's only 1,500 people.
Yeah.
But so as far as livestock goes, there's like a circle around Manson that there's no livestock buildings because there's not enough water for it.
Huh.
And then the other issue is you got recreational lake just down the road, and so that's what stopped me was a recreational
What lake is that?
Twin Lakes.
Twin Lakes.
Yeah.
You got a pretty good corn market up there too. There's a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
ethanol plants.
Yeah, I think within 15, 20 miles of me, there's 3 ethanol plants, probably using 300,000 bushel a day.
I took a few loads up there before harvest because they pushed the bid. They were 60 cents over or whatever, and I took a few, and I'm like, that's enough. That's enough of that. That's a long haul, and that was a long wait.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll pull in there, and there'll be trucks from Denison or Cedar Rapids, Waterloo.
Yeah.
Lot come from like the Mason City area. So.
Yep. Yeah, when you got to sit on the road, no bueno.
Yeah, it's an hour and a half wait to get in line.
Yeah. Yep. So, did not like that. In fact, I think we had 4 loads to go up there. We took 2, and they were actually big loads because we had the Harvest Proclamation on, and we asked if we could not fulfill the rest of our contract because they were having so much issues with people out on the road. They were actually asking people to not come. I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. Oh, perfect.
That's probably your $4 corn too that you didn't deliver then.
It was what was it? It was in the 420s, 419 or something, and then 60. It was like 470.
Yeah.
Is what the remaining deal. So, yeah, we were just trying to be smart, but that was no fun. Our time's worth something too.
It is.
Figure
Yeah.
that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Every once in a while, Fort Dodge plants they'll call for corn, and boy, they get trucks in from a long ways away.
Yeah.
Co-ops too from a long ways away.
Yeah, that's what frustrates me is when you're in line and you can see 6 co-op trucks all from the same co-op.
Yeah.
And then you see another 7 from this co-op. You're like, God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll send a text special, and then it gets filled 5 minutes later. Co-op probably filled it.
Those guys cuss the farmers though too, the professional haulers, because one guy mistaken me for one time, a professional hauler. These damn farmers coming in here, and I'm like, Jesus, we can't get out of our own way.
Yeah. Wow, I get it. That's good. You headed to any trade shows this winter?
I think this will be the only one.
Okay.
I've always wanted to go back to Commodity Classic, just to get away, but
I wouldn't do it the year we're going to Denver.
well, yeah, it might not be a bad idea. I could tie a ski trip in with that.
Oh, there you go.
Dave wants to go skiing, so you can come out early with us, and we'll go skiing.
We got to get out there early. Still got to finish booking
Tanner and I
that
are
trip.
going to probably break her leg.
Literally, break a leg.
Yep.
Yeah.
So very cool.
good.
Well, thank you for coming on. We've been wanting to do it for a while, but it's always better in person. We knew that you would probably be here, so might as well reach out. It was funny. I was texting him, and I was like, he's not texting me back. He doesn't have a Apple. That looks like an Apple.
Android, Google,
That's
Pixel 9
that's
Pro.
what it is. For some reason, they don't like to talk to each other. I had to restart my phone, and then all of a sudden, 3 text messages come in.
Oh,
It happened with
interesting.
my dad, too.
Your dad has a Google Pixel? Or whatever?
No, Android.
I think I tried texting you back, didn't I?
Yeah.
And then it didn't send or
He
something.
ended up DMing me, and
Yeah.
he's like, hey, I tried to text you back. Are you mad at me? Or,
What a loser. I love it.
So, yeah.
Well, that's good. Thanks again. Corey, what do you tell the listeners?
Crack a cold one. Celsius.
Celsius.
You deserve it.